I just hate the hierarchy of like people in the Discord though. Where like it's like CS:GO, and then I feel like Rainbow Six players, and then like Overwatch players are a joke, and Fortnite players are a joke.
There's no such thing.
As a
There's no
joker.
such. It's just. How do I say it? In the
But I was curious. You browse the Discord, right? You read some of the messages. Have you noticed
Okay.
how CS players feel like superior to every other player ever?
Well, of course. Where if coming from CS, in general, that the community always has had that ego behind them. They've had the confidence, but a lot of that ego is always within them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I see it too, and like something that I've noticed is that because Valorant also is a game that's very similar to CS too. I think it feeds into it a little bit more. Where all the talk is that Fortnite players are not going to be able to play Valorant. Or like they'll be able to
Okay.
play it, but they're not going to be good at it. Is what everyone says.
So, Counter-Strike players will, of course, have the advantage from the get-go because this is primarily based off of Counter-Strike. For Fortnite players, it's definitely going to be difficult because when I remember playing Counter-Strike and then going into Fortnite and then going back to Counter-Strike, I wanted to build in front of me.
Yeah.
When I was getting
just
shot,
structures.
I was clicking the same build buttons as if I was going to have a wall built in front of me because you've been playing it for so long. So they're going to have that from the get-go. They're going to keep pressing their build buttons thinking they could build in front of them. But that's not going to happen, of course. But definitely Counter-Strike is going to have an advantage. Fortnite players, there's nothing really that you could implement into Valorant from Fortnite.
Do you think that goes away quickly though, or do you think that's like something that'll stay with them for a while? Like, because my assumption is that like things like that go away pretty quickly when you realize, hey, I can't build in this game, right? Like people will try to for like a little bit, but
depends. If you're gonna keep playing the game left and right, if you're gonna play this game and then switch to the other game, you're gonna keep having that. It's still gonna come back to you unless you just let Fortnite go completely.
Yeah.
Because if you keep playing Fortnite, that whole mentality is still gonna be there.
No, yeah, that makes sense. I think something that I wrote down too is like some people hate on Fortnite players a lot, right? Like they get a bad rap because I think that's primarily because they're younger. Like when you get like the younger audience, people associate Fortnite with kids. They're like, these people aren't good enough to play a game like Valorant, which is going to be like a competitive tactical shooter. But I think another thing with Fortnite is for a good player, it gives them a lot of room to really show how good they are. Because like when you get shot at in a game like Fortnite, you can react to it, right? You'll get a second, you can start building your walls and everything. When you get trashed on in Counter-Strike, you could just get killed like in one hit, and it's like, okay, well, like obviously it's a different set of skills, but I think Fortnite compared to a game like PUBG, for example, right? In PUBG, if you're just out of position, then you just get killed. Like there's nothing that you can do about it. And in Fortnite, it's like, well, you can react to it. You can just outplay your opponent every time that you encounter them. And I think that's like, interesting.
Absolutely. This is going to be indefinitely a team game, way more team game. I think it's way more team based than Fortnite. Fortnite, there's things you could do by yourself because the building gives you the advantage of being able to carry yourself. Yeah, you could still carry yourself alone in Valorant and CS by doing 1v5s and stuff, but you have to have the aim. It has nothing to do with like your building. You have to have that god aim to be able to do that. Your game sense and your aim. Game sense, it could happen in Fortnite. It could happen in Counter-Strike, Valorant. That comes in effect, but the aim is not as required in Fortnite as it is in Valorant or Counter-Strike. So this will be very aim based.
Yeah.
Compared to the other games. So those people who are really good in Fortnite at building, but their aim was not as good, they will have to.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think
work
that
on their aim big time.
I think that people who excelled in different areas of Fortnite might struggle a little bit, right? Like, because there's the people who are just like fantastic builders, and obviously, like, they'll probably stick to Fortnite in that regard. But any of like the FPS guys who, you got to remember, these people who came over to Fortnite came over from a different game initially, right? So all of these people who are playing Fortnite right now have CS experience, or like they have like maybe like Source experience. Maybe they played games like Quake or something, which obviously isn't like the direct comparison, but those games aren't easy games. And to come over to a game like Fortnite where people like consider it to be easy, I think that's a lot more difficult than people realize. I think that the transition to a game like Valorant might not be terrible. Do you think that there's a big difference between the hit scan and the projectile stuff? Do you think that's gonna like really throw people off? Or
Hit scans, I've always liked hit scan way more because
I do too.
I like it when I'm pointing at an enemy or a target and I click it. I want it to shoot that. I don't want to have to guide where my sniper. You get used to it, but I still don't want to have to, shoot my sniper an inch away from the character or to hit him.
I think it's kind of funny too, because the game that I think I was best at was probably PUBG, and that has projectiles. Like, is the way that you shoot. There's travel time. There's like bullet speed and everything, and I got really good at it actually. I don't know why. It was like really satisfying, but I definitely prefer hit scan. Like in Apex, I use the charge rifle just because it's busted, dude. I'm not gonna. Why would I use anything else?
Yeah, hit scan's the best, man, because but it has to hit scan.
Yeah.
It has to hit scan. Counter-Strike sometimes it just doesn't hit scan, dude. It just doesn't reg.
Oh, you mean like it doesn't register? Yeah.
Yeah. Man, it's going to be a huge difference maker when it comes to the netcode, when it comes to the reg, the movement, the smoothness, and the anti-cheat. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to cheat right off the bat. And once, of course, and I'm pretty sure once you like promote yourself as having some crazy anti-cheat system, there's going to be people hopping onto that.
People are taking it as a challenge, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. Hopefully they do a really good job at that. But the main thing, I don't think the main thing is the anti-cheat. That's something of course, you have to do in an FPS game like this. But it's going to be the netcode, man. The smoothness because when you compare it to CSGO, I'm telling you, one of the biggest things that I did not like in Counter-Strike is for example, I'm aiming at the corner of the wall. And then some guy white peaks, and you don't even see from like
you don't even see him before he comes out.
You don't see that middle. You just see him go from left to the end point of the right. Like that middle is disappeared. You don't see it. It's so quick. It's like they're gliding on your screen. So that netcode should make it better.
No,
smoothness.
Well, I think the game's obviously going to be like infinitely smoother. When did CS:GO come out? It came out years ago, right? And it seems like Valve has kind of neglected pretty much everything with the game. No, like as far as like just like other games go, or like people coming over, I just hate the hierarchy of like people in the Discord though, where like it's like CS:GO, and then I feel like Rainbow Six players, and then like Overwatch players are a joke, and Fortnite players are a joke.
There's no such thing.
There's no such.
It's just how do I say it? In the beginning, they're going to have an advantage. Counter-Strike players in the beginning will have an advantage over Apex player, over this player, over that player, because it's so CS based. But once people play it often, whoever puts the more dedication, but it's not always that you put your most dedication, most hours in the game, you're going to be the best. It's not like that. Sometimes you just don't have the skill. Sometimes people just are better, but you will improve. But there's people who do put that time, and they will be better than Counter-Strike players.
Do you think that there's a way that people will practice that that makes them better than other players?
Yeah.
So like my big thing is like everybody comes from the same place. Like we're all human, right? And like obviously like, there's a little bit of talent, but I feel like a lot of the talent is influenced by like the things that we focus on when we practice, right? So like if I just beat my head into a wall and I just keep like requeuing and hoping that I get better, obviously I feel like somebody who's like methodically planning out the way that they practice and they're like focusing on like very specific things. That's why you have coaches, right? That's why you have people like telling you exactly what to focus on. I feel like those people are obviously going to improve better in the same amount of time, as opposed to like some like you said, it's not just time played all the time. It's the way that you use that time. It feels like.
Okay, so why I think The one thing that I guess Fortnite players can have an advantage is the habits and rituals that they do. The Fortnite pros, the habits and rituals that they have of scrimming.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're scrimming in Counter Strike and everything, but it was not. I've never like Fortnite was really. If you see all of these people winning these tournaments, they were all the ones who were in the Discord scrims. All of these people were Discord scrimming, big time. Their habits and rituals of being in the Discord and scrimming over and over again. These are the guys who are number one right now.
And
it's not some guy just picked it up and he was pugging in random matches,
Yeah.
solo queues. You know, it's not those guys. It's the scrimmers.
And I actually, I said this earlier, like just before we started talking too. I have a lot of respect for. I watched my buddy Waffles, who I actually just had a timeout in chat as a joke, but he was playing Fortnite the other day, and he just loaded into like a custom game, and he just started like doing his practices, like building and stuff like that. And I was thinking, you don't see that in a game like I played a lot of League of Legends, right? And people are told they should go into like a custom game and practice like their last hitting within the game, but they don't actually do that. Like very, very infrequently do people actually go and practice those things, which are like the fundamentals of the game. But they would just rather queue into a game and like not focus on anything else. And
Exactly.
like they don't improve that way, right?
Yeah, I think that's that will take you so far. You'll still get better the more you pug,
Yeah.
But I think if you want to take it to the next level, you got to do way more than that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.